Welcome back to our lecture series to celebrate EURALEX's 40th anniversary, and it's a pleasure to introduce to you Zoe, who was the EURALEX president from 2021 to 2022, and I took over from her. She was also the organizer of the 19th EURALEX conference, which was supposed to take place in Alexandroupolis in Greece, but unfortunately it couldn't because of the pandemic. So after moving to 2021, in the end, she had to organize a fully online conference, and I think she did a great job with that. She's also professor of linguistics at the Department of Greek, and she's vice rector of academic affairs and student welfare at her university, the Democritus University of Thrace. I hope this is the correct pronunciation in English. And she specializes in lexicology and lexicography, most importantly, pedagogical lexicography and language teaching. And I think in this context, we will hear from you about strategic dictionary use and soft skill development. So the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Annette. I would like to thank you and the EURALEX board for inviting me to deliver this speech. Let me share my screen and then great. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you. So I have actually two hats. One is that of an educator and teacher, and the other is that of a lexicographer. So that's why my goal has always been twofold. On the one hand, how to make my students use dictionaries strategically and effectively, and on the other hand, how to make dictionaries more user-friendly, otherwise no one will use them, and also more accessible to all my students, regardless of their learning profiles or any disabilities that may affect their access to conventional or electronic dictionaries. These two aspects have defined my research in lexicography. So, a significant part of it concerns pedagogical lexicography, specifically the dictionary use strategies, or DUSS, as I call them, or the strategic dictionary use. And another aspect is the creation of accessible dictionaries for people with visual impairments or those who use a sign language. We have among us two of my students that work on this dictionary compilation. Early on, I also realized that it's essential to intervene at a political level in order to develop policies that ensure that dictionary becomes integrated into education as a fundamental educational tool that promotes learning. So I participated in expert groups in Greece, where we developed detailed curricula for language teaching. And in doing so, we managed to include the systematic use of dictionaries in education. And my current presentation stems from this involvement. I will use the already old idea of strategic dictionary use that I had developed earlier and discuss how it can help in cultivating the soft skills of our students, which are at the center of educational discourse today. So, let me first give you the outline of my presentation. My presentation consists of three parts: a theoretical one, an applied one, and then in the third part, I will show how we can arrive to strategic dictionary use. So first, I will talk about, I will try to define strategic dictionary use and dictionary use strategies. Then I talk about soft skills and why they are important. I will show then how strategic dictionary use cultivates soft skills. And finally, I'll talk about how can we train students to become strategic dictionary users. And I will refer about that to the Greek case and what we did in Greece. So what is strategic dictionary use? I would say that strategic dictionary use is a smart, strategy-based lookup. It is also purposeful. Let me put that over there. It is also purposeful because smart lookups are driven by a specific purpose or goal, such as clarifying the meaning of a word, finding synonyms, or verifying spellings. And then users have a clear intention when consulting a dictionary. A smart dictionary use is also contextual, so users consider the context in which they need the information. They take into account the sentence, the paragraph, or conversation they are in to ensure that the dictionary entry aligns with the context. Then it has to be effective. Users do not spend excessive time searching through the dictionary, but quickly find the information they need. It also has to be selective because users select the most relevant information from a dictionary entry, and they focus on the definitions, examples, or users notes that are pertinent to their current task or question. Also, they are adaptive so that smart lookups adapt the user's level of knowledge, and they may involve seeking simpler explanation for beginners or more detailed information for advanced users. Strategic dictionary use is also minimizing disruption because users aim to minimize the disruption when to the reading or conversation by conducting the lookup swiftly and seamlessly. And finally, strategic dictionary use has to be promoting learning. So users see smart lookups as an opportunity to learn and expand their vocabulary, and they actively engage with information in the dictionary to retain it for future purpose, for future use. It is also characterized by applicability because information obtained from a smart lookup is immediately applicable to the task at hand, whether it is writing, reading, participating in the discussions, synonym exercise, etc., etc. Of course, it has to be strategic. So smart lookups involve the use of various strategies, such as using context clues, inferring meaning, cross-referencing, locate information efficiently. Finally, it has to be technology aided. And then, how can we define dictionary use strategies? Well, I would say that dictionary use strategies are techniques used by the effective dictionary users in order to, that's better, in order to decide whether to use or not an appropriate type of dictionary and make a quick and successful search in it. And we have to have in mind that the development of dictionary culture and strategic dictionary use can be achieved when dictionary pedagogy and dictionary routines are introduced in everyday classroom activities in a systematic way in order to bridge the gap between lexicographers and users. I will be back to that later on, at the third part of my presentation, actually. Strategies can be classified in first dictionary awareness strategies, which refer to the critical awareness of the value and shortcomings of the dictionary that leads to the decision to use or not use a dictionary in order solve a specific problem encountered during the process of learning, either within or outside the classroom. They examine the extent to which the user is familiar with the circumstances of using a dictionary and knows when and for what reason one can resort to using a dictionary. The second category of dictionary use strategies is dictionary selection strategies, which allow the choice of the appropriate dictionary depending on the problem to be solved, and also guarantee the familiarity with one's own dictionary. So it doesn't suffice to select the appropriate dictionary. We also know how to use it and which are the main parts of it. The third category of strategies is the lemmatization strategies, which help dictionary users find the citation form of reflected forms found in the text by relying on morphological indices such as stems, prefixes, suffixes, flexional morphemes, and all that of the unknown word they come across in a text in order to make hypotheses about the lookup form of that word. Lemmatization strategies also include skills in alphabetical sequencing. Otherwise, lemmatization is not possible. Of course, This is relevant to paper dictionaries, I know, but in Greece, we've used paper dictionaries. I'll show afterwards. We have also lookup strategies, which control and facilitate the localization of the correct section of the entry, where different meanings of the same polysemous word form are included. And also, we live in a digital era. We heard Gilles Maurice the first day talking about ChatGPT and how it has influenced the lexicography. So the form of dictionaries has changed, and users need to have some different skills. So that's why we have included Stavroula Mavromatis in her work. Actually, we have included some more strategies like the navigation strategies, which refer to the technical skills required for informatic literacy. And these may include the use of hyperlinks, etc. This is a presupposition in order to use electronic dictionaries. And finally, we have the lookup strategies in the new electronic environments, which refer to the methods and techniques individuals employ to search for and retrieve specific information or resources within digital or online platforms, databases, websites, or applications. And these include wildcard use, Boolean search, sound search, incremental search, and all these modern and interesting things. From the work of Gavriilidou and Konstantinidou 2021, and you may find here the strategy group, the representation strategies, and also the definition of this strategy. I can move fast on that. And let us now turn on soft skills. Sorry, excuse me. So I would also like to say that dictionary use strategies are problem-oriented, so they are used when we have a problem to solve. They're action-based because they had to do something with dictionaries. They're non-observables because they don't know what the users have in mind when they use these different strategies. And of course, their choice depends on variables such as gender, motivation, learning style, educational and proficiency level, school type, purpose of the task to be accomplished, career orientation, and general reference skills. And let us now turn on the soft skills and see what are they. Soft skills are known as interpersonal or people skills, and they are non-technical personal attributes and qualities that enable individuals to effectively interact and collaborate with others, both in personal and professional settings. These skills are typically related to one's emotional intelligence, social abilities, and personality traits. And of course, they complement what we call hard skills, which is the academic knowledge, providing flexibility and adaptability to them. Subtypes of soft skills: communication skills, leadership skills, interpersonal skills, individual, professional, and creative, and more specific categories like the problem solving, critical thinking, decision making, self-regulation, conflict management, time management, self-control, etc., etc. And let us see now different types of soft skills are important. Let me start, for instance, for effective communication. Well, soft skills like active listening, empathy, and clear communication are crucial for conveying ideas, understanding others, and avoiding misunderstandings. And also, effective communication is vital in all aspects of life, from personal relationships to the workplace. Another category is the teamwork soft skills, where collaboration is a fundamental part of most professional environments, and soft skills like teamwork, cooperation, and conflict resolution are essential for working harmoniously with colleagues to achieve common goals. And of course, another category, that of leadership, where leadership skills such as decision-making, and motivation are valuable not only for formal leadership roles, but also for guiding and influencing others in various contexts. And let me focus to specific soft skills, starting with effective communication. Actually, words are the building blocks of language and consequently communication. And a robust vocabulary empowers individuals to articulate their thoughts with clarity and precision. It enables them to express complex ideas, emotions, and concepts effectively. When used strategically, dictionaries can play a pivotal role in vocabulary expansion, and we'll show how later in the third part of this presentation. Also, effective communication is not just about the volume of words used, it's about using the right words in the right context. So, precision in language choice is vital for conveying messages accurately and avoiding misunderstanding. And also, by consulting a dictionary, individuals can assure that they are using words in a manner consistent with their intended meaning, preventing miscommunication. So, many words have multiple meanings or nuances that can significantly impact the message's interpretation, and dictionaries help individuals navigate these subtleties, ensuring their communication remains precise. Also, precise language minimizes the risk of misinterpretation, reducing conflicts and misunderstandings in both personal and professional relationships. And improved and clear and precise communication is essential for effective problem solving. And when individuals can convey their ideas accurately, they are better equipped to collaborate and find solutions. Another crucial soft skill is problem solving, and we'll see in a while how strategic dictionary use may cultivate problem solving. Actually, solving refers to soft skills like that enable individuals to analyze complex situations, make informed decisions, and develop innovative solutions to challenges. Actually, I have to mention that employers increasingly value soft skills when hiring, as they contribute to a productive and harmonious workplace that can lead to better job performance and career success. Some of the soft skills mentioned above are fundamental and function supportively for the development of others, for instance, self-control. For example, critical thinking, problem solving, and decision making in some studies are considered a construct and jointly measured as interdependent skills, since critical thinking is regarded as the foundation for the development of other two skills. Let us see now how strategic dictionary use may cultivate soft skills. And I start by asking a crucial question. Can soft skills be taught? And the answer is yes. Development depends on the teaching approach, which must be learner-centered, and content also. According to the literature, the most appropriate methodology for teaching soft skills is their integration into the teaching of other cognitive subjects, so that soft skills become part of the process of acquiring formal academic knowledge. And the use of dictionary in the classroom during language lessons cultivates vocabulary concurrently with soft skills. Let's, for instance, we have a rich vocabulary enables more precise and nuanced communication, and the more words we know, we can better express our thoughts, feelings, and ideas, and the dictionary can serve as a daily source of new words, helping people gradually build a robust vocabulary. And also soft skills such as empathy, active listening, rely heavily on choosing the right words, and a dictionary can provide synonyms, antonyms, helping select words that convey the exact tone and meaning we intend. The same with pronunciation and articulation or contextual learning. In the first case, effective communication also depends on clear pronunciation, and dictionaries may be of help on that too. And also dictionaries provide examples of words used in sentences, helping users understand their practical usage. And let us see some more specific examples by starting with critical thinking. Actually, critical thinking is the ability to think clearly and rationally, understanding the logical connection between ideas, and it involves being open-minded, analyzing information, evaluating arguments and evidence, and making reasoned judgments. Actually, it is a mental process of perception, application, analysis, synthesis, and evaluation. And all these skills are used when we consult dictionaries of information derived from observation, experience, reflection, reasoning, or communication, which lead to action. And critical thinking goes beyond memorization and rote learning. It encourages individuals to question, reflect, and engage in deeper levels of understanding. To improve students' critical thinking, teaching methods that activate higher order thinking skills should be used instead of traditional teaching methods that focus on memorization of facts. And dictionary use activities may cultivate critical thinking. Let's see how. When students encounter an unfamiliar word in a text, they must apply critical thinking to determine whether they can infer the meaning from available contextual clues, or if they should look it up in a dictionary. And also when students have to select the most appropriate definition for a given context, they need to engage in critical thinking to discern the nuances of word meanings and make informed choices. So as they practice, they gradually become more critical thinkers because they have to reason, to select, to analyze, and all of these skills cultivate critical thinking. Let's focus on another example. I'll talk now about problem solving. Problem solving is the process of finding solutions to difficult or complex issues or challenges. It involves identifying a problem, analyzing its components, generating possible solutions, evaluate these solutions, and also selecting the most appropriate one to implement. Problem solving is a fundamental cognitive skill that is applied in various aspects of life, including personal, academic, professional, and social situations. The entire process begins with identifying problematic situations and concludes with students gathering and processing data under the guidance of the educator. Let's see how each path is connected with strategic dictionary use. Let's start with the first path, which is identifying the problem. In this path, actually, we have to clearly define the issue or challenge that needs to be addressed. These steps involves understanding the context, gathering relevant information, and specifying the goals and constraints. Well, in our case, in dictionary use, we have to understand the linguistic task. Do we have to find a synonym? Do we need to use dictionary for essay writing? So the problem, you come across an unfamiliar word, for instance, while reading or listening, then we have to define the issue, and you need to understand the meaning of the word, and then decide the dictionary you'll use. In the second step, which is analyzing the problem, we have to break down the problem into its constituent parts or elements, analyze the factors contributing to the problem, and understand the relationships between them. In our case, in dictionary use, in strategic dictionary use, so we have to answer the question why I have to look up the word. And then we have to break down the problem and examine the word structure, including prefixes, roots, suffixes, etc. Analyze the factors, consider any clues in the context in which we encountered the word, and then we have to decide where we will look it up. Then in the third part, we have the generating solutions part. In this case, we have brainstorm and create a list of potential solutions or strategies to address a problem, encourage creativity and divergent thinking during this stage. Well, in our case, we have to choose the correct entry and sub-entry. The fourth phase, or the fourth step, is evaluating the solutions, assess the strengths and weaknesses of each solution, and consider the feasibility, potential risks, and benefits associated with each option. Transferring that to our case, we have to determine which definition makes the in the context of the sentence or passage where we found the word. Then the next step is selecting a solution, choose the most appropriate solution based on the evaluation, and the selected solution should align with the goals and constraints identified earlier. And the sixth step is implementing the solution, the final steps actually, and put the chosen solution into action. This may involve creating a plan, allocating resources, and taking necessary steps to resolve the problem. In our case, it's solve the task, the exercise I had to do, the essay I had to write, and then use the word and practice. Monitoring and evaluating is also very important because we have to continuously assess the progress of the chosen solution and make adjustments as needed to ensure that the problem is being effectively addressed. In our case, if we want to transfer that to strategic dictionary use, we have to pay attention to how the word is used in different contexts to deepen the comprehension. And also reflecting and learning, which is pivotal in the whole procedure. After the problem has been solved, take time to reflect on the process. Consider what worked well and what could be improved for future problem-solving situations. In our cases, consider all that. How did you use your dictionary? And finally, learn the word. The last example is decision-making. Decision-making is a process of selecting a choice or course of action from multiple alternatives. It is a cognitive process that individuals, groups, or organizations use to make judgments, solve problems, and determine the best course of action in a given situation. In the context of the school classroom, the incorporation of dictionary use could be utilized as a general framework for practicing decision-making. For instance, we have to choose which dictionary to look, which meaning, in which entry, how do I navigate? So we have to make continuous decisions like that. So in this slide, I summarize how each step of a dictionary lookup process cultivates a specific soft skill. First of all, we have a problem to solve when we have to do an exercise, when we have to write an essay on anything, and we have to look up a word or for retrieving some more information. We are in front of a situation of problem solving. When we have to choose the appropriate dictionary, we have to apply critical thinking, decision-making, and a lot of other soft skills. During lookup, we have to use alphabetization, and we have to apply self-regulation. When we have to find the entry, we are in front of decision-making and also analytical thought. And so finally, during meaning selection and return to the exercise for verification, we have to apply critical thinking, decision-making, self-regulation, problem-solving. Well, what I find a little bit problematic is that we can have a lot of teamwork activities with dictionary. So it's really, using a dictionary, it's really an individual, let's say, skill we have to apply. And that's sometimes very sad because in education we have to work in teamwork. And now, let's take a moment to discuss what we've accomplished in Greece regarding dictionary use. Actually, the reformed curricula for Greek language teaching in elementary and secondary schools in 2001 and 2022 in Greece, as part of the educational policy, have placed special emphasis on encouraging learners to become familiar with dictionary, develop dictionary use skills, and foster a dictionary culture. I think we owe this term to Goose. So, as part of these reforms, school dictionaries were compiled, and also specific units in school textbooks were designed to train pupils in dictionary use. Here you can see the 3 dictionaries that are available for students in Greece. This one is for students, for elementary students from K1 to K3. This one is for K4 to K6, and this one is for high school students. These dictionaries are printed, and they are freely distributed to each pupil. Their PDF versions exist in the internet, so pupils can also consult this version of them. One of them, the one for the K1 to K3 students, is illustrated. In this slide, you can see that the school textbook of the second K2, the second grade of elementary school, there is a special unit, the unit 11, which cultivates specific dictionary skills. For instance, in this exercise, the book tries to make students acquainted with their dictionary. This is their dictionary. So it gives some characteristics of the dictionary, the number of the page, the first word of the page, the last word of the page, that this word is feminine or that this word is a verb, etc. And then children have to go to the dictionary and find this information in the article, in the lexicographical article, and just put the correct number here. So in this case, they learn the dictionary because it is a prerequisite before using a dictionary correctly. And this is a similar exercise. So the word with a bold and colored characters is the lemma. The word with italics is the example, etc., etc. So this also acquaints users with specific characteristics of their dictionary. Actually, yeah. And in the new school books that we are now doing, because we have to prepare new school textbooks in Greece, we also opted for using signposts like the ones you can see here. For instance, you may use your dictionary to find a synonymous word, or bar on the dictionary application, or page headers indicate the first letter of the words on that page, or words are arranged in alphabetical order in a dictionary. Apply the knowledge gained from the dictionary lookup to understand the word's meaning and use it in context as needed. These are in the texts, and they help students, pupils, apply specific strategies, dictionary use strategies. Now, since we are very concerned about training students to be strategic dictionary users, we developed a strategy-based program, which includes actually 5 phases. I was seeing only the 3. The first phase of this program, we elaborated with a student of mine. This strategic dictionary use program includes these 5 phases, and the first of it is the preparation phase, where students identify dictionary use strategies they are already using and develop metacognitive awareness about the relation between dictionary use strategies and successful lookup. This is the first phase, the preparation phase. Then we have the presentation phase, where the teacher models every dictionary use strategy and explains by using specific dictionary use names how they are used, their characteristic, their effectiveness, their field of application, and all this important information. The third phase is the practice and scaffolding, where pupils are asked to practice all the above mentioned dictionary use strategies in authentic learning situations. Then we have the self-evaluation, where pupils evaluate their success in lookups, what went well, what was wrong, etc., where they did that. And finally, the expansion phase, where the pupils apply their preferred dictionary use strategies to new contexts. The learning outcomes of this specific program we have compiled is that after the completion of the program, students will be able to effectively use dictionaries and understand their significance as tools in writing and reading. And this is really crucial if we want to continue making dictionaries. Otherwise, we won't have clients know when and how to use it. differentiate between various types of dictionaries, select the appropriate type of dictionary depending on the task at hand, use dictionaries to find definitions, pronunciations, spelling, parts of speech, synonyms and antonyms, alphabetically organize information, lemmatized words for paper dictionaries, using compensatory strategies or drawing conclusions, use headwords, sentence examples, and illustrations, identify synonyms, select the appropriate meaning of polysemous words, understand etymological formation. It's not evident. It's very difficult for students to do so, even for adults sometimes. Navigate lemmas to find information regarding phraseology. This is another problem because, especially in paper dictionaries, they have to choose the correct entry to look for the phraseology. And we have Vithomu with us today here, who worked a lot on phraseology in Greece. Also, locate and interpret information provided by the dictionary. Is the meta language of the dictionary used comprehensible to our students? I'm not very sure that we achieve that all the time. Also, apply the results of searches in situations within or outside the classroom. Determine the outcome of a search and initiate a new search in case it was unsuccessful. This program consists of 12 units of targeted paper dictionary use instruction. It has a duration of at least 4 weeks. It includes explicit and integrated in the language course education. It cultivates 4 types of dictionary use strategies, those for paper dictionaries, and we are now in the phase of elaborating another program for cultivating also the strategies for electronic, for digital dictionaries. It complements the school textbook, and also it cultivates soft skills. You can see here some examples like that. For instance, in these exercises, we have dictionary selection strategies. This boy asks, oh, I have to find the meaning of this word. Which dictionary do I have to consult? And then this girl who provides a choice of different types of dictionary, and the guy has to choose the correct one. Or exercise like that, where they practice synonym finding in dictionaries, which is not an easy task always, or we train them also for online dictionary lookups, how to use dictionary in reading, how to use dictionary in various types of discourse types, etc. And also how they can navigate in the entry of the dictionary to find the specific submeanings required for a specific test. And actually, which are the novelties of this program? It is an explicit teaching to soft skill development. It offers explicit teaching to soft skill development. It is also integrated in the language course, so it's not something separated. It is functional in this way, and it is flexible and adaptable teaching. We know that students who strategically use dictionaries for vocabulary building often perform better in their studies, demonstrating improved writing and speaking skills. There is an abundant literature on that. I think it would be interesting to investigate if professionals who strategically use dictionaries to invest in vocabulary development and language precision excel in their career, securing promotions, leadership roles, and greater job satisfaction, and also to check if individuals working in diverse environments benefit from strategic dictionary use to bridge language gaps and foster effective cross-cultural communication. To conclude, the strategic use of a dictionary can be a potent catalyst for soft skill development. The majority of the EURALEX family, which is present here today, is involved in dictionary compilation. My work, however, centers on training people to use dictionaries more efficiently, because after all, without strategic and proficient dictionary users, there would be no demand for dictionaries. Thank you very much. Here are the references. and I'm open to questions. I try to speak a little bit faster so that I finish the exact time. Thank you. Of course, I'm open to questions.
Thank you so much, Zoe. I've had to take over the chairing. Sorry for this slight.
It's always a pleasure to discuss with you, Robert. You know that. I love that. And you did
Right.
a lot in pedagogical lexicography. You were one of the
I
first.
actually had a question. I just had to move to a different room to make sure, because I've been asked to take it from here. So thank you so much for this very, very clear, enlightening presentation, which is grounded in your work of many years, which I'm familiar with. So let me stop wasting time and see if you guys have any questions. Preferably, just turn on your camera and microphone and just ask it face to face. But I mean, if you don't want to, or if you can't, just type it into the chat and we'll try to deal with it. So go ahead.
I guess it's the second presentation of the day and people might be a little bit tired. So yeah.
It is.
And
but it's
the last lecture series, so people had an overdose of lexicography and et cetera, et cetera. So
it's a very intense series, and I could see, I mean, because I've been to every single one of the presentations, and I could see how indeed the fatigue sets in because the numbers, the initially high numbers have slightly fallen, and I'm sure that's fatigue. But it's the last 2 days, and we're back to around 50, which is great. It's just like the best. So, any questions?
I watched the ones only who were late in the afternoon, because in the morning I know. It was really so yeah, but it was very interesting.
But they'll all be recorded, so you'll still be able to follow up. Okay, let me start by asking a question that I had an idea. No, there is one. There's one from Yolanta. Have you already done some research on how dictionary instruction improves language learning and learning skills? You see that in the chat, right? Or do you want me to repeat it?
Yeah, I see. So thanks, Yolanda, for this question. For the moment, we haven't done such research, but we started first from dictionary use strategies. But now we plan to start a big research on that also area of dictionary use, because we have to document why it is important to apply a dictionary use strategy program. So in order to document that and to have arguments for doing so, we need to have data actually for how strategic dictionary instruction improves language learning. Now that we have all the material, we will dive into that too. But we don't have data yet.
Okay. Thank you. Any further questions? Okay, I have a long one, so but we have time. And I mean, you actually made up for the time which you didn't have to do, because we also have the follow-up session. Anyway, I was thinking, I'm quite familiar with your work, but it is only today that I realized in this presentation, I mean, the new thing that I wasn't familiar with the linking of the dictionary strategists with the more general term, with more general category of soft skills. That's relatively new, isn't it? Correct me if I'm wrong, but the way I read your today's take is that when you say strategic dictionary use, or when you say a dictionary strategy, you really mean an effective strategy and not any strategy. And that because, well, I mean, this made me think, I mean, a long time ago, a very long time ago, 20 years ago, one of the most cited scholars of our time, George Miller, co-authored a paper with Patricia Gildy. It was 1985 on how to misread a dictionary. I'm sure you're familiar with that one. And 1987 was a follow-up. And they talked about a dictionary use strategy. They had a name for it. They identified it as the most common strategy, the kids' rule strategy, right? I'm sure you're familiar with it, but those of you who are not, it's a sort of a way of reading a definition, especially a definition that's above your, well, vocabulary level, where you simply don't bother to try and integrate the whole definition, but you pick one word that looks good and you ascribe the meaning to that word, right? And that's often, you know, neglecting something else. So, for instance, if a diction definition of a difficult word like usurp, to usurp something like usurp power or the throne, is defined in terms of the verb to grab, then, and they did experiments, the people, mostly kids, but also adults, as it turned out later on, people just see, oh, grab, so that's the same as grab, and they will write examples. I mean, they knew that it was like this because they would produce examples like, the girl usurped the boy's hair, right? Like grab. So this was a strategy, yet a rather ineffective strategy. What would you call it then? I mean, because if you only, is this, I mean, I know it's just a terminological issue, and I usually don't like to get bogged in terminological issues, but I was just wondering, because I actually thought when you initially, when I read about strategic dictionary use, I also thought that this includes strategies which are the learner's own strategies and not just the prescriptive strategies that are not necessarily optimal. Sorry for this question being so long. I hope that's clear what I mean.
It's a very interesting.
What's your take on this?
Yeah, and you know, I like very much theorize sometimes. So I would like to tell you that in the theory that I compiled for dictionary strategies, what I say is that a strategy, a certain specific strategy may be effective for someone, but not for someone else. So this means that different users may apply different strategies and be effective in their lookups, but in a different way. So some strategies are better and more, you know, applicable, more better for a certain user, and some others are for other users. And this depends on a lot of factors, as we have written in other papers, on the learning profiles of the users, on the motivation they have, etc., etc. So we can say that there are some, let's say, universal strategies that we could say that they are effective for everyone. And we need to do more research on this direction to see if there is a continuum or if there is a strategic scale, let's say, and if there are some strategies which are universally proved to be effective for everyone. But for the moment, I don't have this data. So to answer your question, I would say that still this is a strategy.
Okay.
Because maybe it was ineffective in that specific educational setting, but it would be effective in other settings. Take, for instance, how people from China, from Japan, they use differently strategies, totally differently the strategies than people in Europe and the United States use them, because they have different learning profiles, and especially they are coming from different educational settings. They learn in a different way. I don't know if I answered.
No, absolutely. Thank you. Yes. There is something from Maria. Hello, Maria. Congratulations. Thanks a lot, Zoe. Please, can I have a copy of the presentation to benefit?
Yeah, I can send, I can share my slides, and also it will be recorded. So it was recorded.
It is being recorded, Maria. All of the presentations in the EURALEX Anniversary Series, and I know you've attended quite a few of them, if not all, they will be made available, and they will be available for everyone to watch and rewatch as you please. So, so that that part will be taken care of.
Well, you said that they had mentioned this term. Yes, indeed, we found this term, the strategy term, back then. But what I tried also to do is to provide a theoretical construct of what is included in strategies. So from just a term, I tried to make a coherent, total of what we should expect when we are talking of strategies and strategic dictionary use.
Okay. We have time for some more questions. Please don't be shy. Go ahead.
Robert, you were one of the first who talked about the new skills that users should have in the digital era. So that was really important for all us that we work on strategy use. I don't know, maybe we should start talking about which are the strategies needed in order to, use ChatGPT for preparing dictionaries or working with students. Maybe this would be also.
Yes, and we've done that here in Poznan, actually, in the
That's why
setting for, in the more general setting of the challenges that it poses. And then actually, it's supposed to be a natural, if I may, a natural language interface. But I'm in touch with people who really go very deep into prompt engineering. And when you look at their prompts, they are not comprehensible to humans because they use some special abbreviated codes to make the most of the, well, now not so limited, but until quite recently, the limited length of the prompt. So they have, it's again, it's much less transparent than the dictionaries and the grammar codes. So it's not quite the way it was supposed to be. But that's for another day. And I guess we have to wait until the situation stabilizes a little bit. Because, you've been working on the program and it's one of the success stories, if I may say so. If you look across, well, at least Europe, I know the situation in Europe, but I suspect also worldwide, the way you've been able to actually sneak matters related to effective dictionary use into the general curriculum. I don't think anywhere else, maybe in South Africa, they've also had some progress, but very few countries where people have been successful, explaining how useful dictionaries are. But but ironically, and a little bit, maybe you won't agree with me, but a little bit disappointingly, the time that it took, and once it's there, we have a paradigm change where maybe very soon, if not already, there may be more effective approaches than using a dictionary. You've mentioned some like intelligent agents. Artificial agents that you can interact with.
Another research would actually compare how we did it in Greece with dictionary use, that we have this program, did this have an impact or not, and compare it with what happens to other countries like, I don't know, Poland or Germany or et cetera, who don't have this kind of, policy about dictionary. Aneta, do you raise your hand or I can?
Yes, I raised my hand. Sorry for being gone for some minutes, but actually my question fits perfectly because do you have any suggestions on how to go about as a lexicographer to make the curriculum change so that it includes dictionary teaching and dictionary usage skills? How did you go about in Greece? How did that work? How did it happen, and how can we learn from that?
Well, when there was a call for experts for compiling the new curricula in Greece, me and some friends of mine said that, well, this is our chance here. We have to get into these committees. work hard and try to make people believe in the value of dictionary as an educative tool. And that's how we did it. Once we were there, then we managed to include all that, and then we had the books, etc. And this is a systematic work. We don't have to leave it, otherwise it will fade.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You have to train teachers also.
Yes,
so you have to do professional development and all that, because sometimes they don't know how to do it. So
yeah, I think teacher training is probably essential as well. But Robert, go ahead. There is something in the chat. You're mute. We can't hear you at the moment.
Indeed, I'm sorry. I thought you wanted. Okay. Okay. Isidora. Isidora, is this correct? Isidora.
Yeah.
I hope. Asks or comments. I haven't read it yet. The educational professors and teachers must be trained first so that they can transmit these skills to the students as well. What would be their attitude towards the dictionary tool? What would be their attitude toward the dictionary tool? Would it be easy to convince them of its value and move away from other outdated forms of education? So there's a statement and also a question. Actually,
it is hard because, it is difficult to move from our practices, teaching practices. But there are a lot of open-minded, teachers, professors, etc., who adopt that, and then they become role models for the others. So this takes time, a lot of work, and let's say a passion for that in order to achieve it. It's done. We have done a lot in Greece. We have a lot of teachers now who train their students to use dictionaries.
Wonderful.